Hey, everybody, what's going on live? This is an emergency broadcast from the Ryan Stick Show because we have great news today. Well, good and bad news. The bad news is this Kickstarter is ending, but the good news is there's going to be a Psycho Gorman comic book, and I'm here with Andy Belanger, the animal himself. Dude, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Ryan? How you doing?
Awesome, man.
Good. Yeah, it's the last day of the Kickstarter for Psycho Goreman. It's basically a Psycho Goreman comic that is going to be like a heavy metal magazine style comic publication. It's going to be a magazine format, about 70 pages, 6 covers we have now. A bunch of them are in the add-on section as variants you can get. Comes with like a really cool Psycho Goreman cereal box mask and stickers. That's by Adam Brooks, the guy who played Greg, the dad in the movie, which is really cool. He's an insane illustrator. J Bone did a bunch of amazing stickers for us that you'll get for free with it. And then it comes with a few posters and prints. And then we have an add-on section that's just stacked with trading cards. It actually comes with a magnet for free too, like a fridge magnet. So every time you eat, you can look at Psycho Goreman. And then it comes with a bunch of really cool stuff in the add-on section, original art that you can get. The trading cards, like I said, there's an art pack of prints and posters and all that kind of stuff. And the comic itself revolves around the Galactic Council that's in the movie. It's basically their survival stories from Psycho Goreman, how they ended up where they are in the council today, and they're all sort of waiting around for Pandora to get back after she's thwarted Psycho Goreman. But we know that maybe she doesn't. So yeah, it's a really cool magazine, and there's 30 plus creators, some of the raddest creators that I've met over the last 25 years as a comic book illustrator. A lot of the guys I met at Heroes Convention in North Carolina, in the Indie Island, which is like the dopest place to look at crazy comic book art. And all of those guys I've kept in touch with over the years. And this was the I've wanted to do a magazine like this for years. And finally, I got to hire all these guys that I've wanted to work with. And Psycho Goreman was the vehicle.
When did you first see Psycho Gorman? How did that come into your, how did it come into the Andy Belanger
It was
Lethal
almost,
Comics universe?
yeah, it was like the first day. Jason Iser, who directed Hobo with a Shotgun and does the Dark Side of the Ring shows on wrestling, we were texting back and forth about comic books, about Mother Trucker, my other series with Lethal Comics, and he told me about Psycho Goreman, and he thought this would be a movie that I'd totally freak out for. And then, oddly enough, one of the guys on the book, Land Pitts, who did the Witchmaster story for us with Serge Acuna, he on the same day was like, "Holy crap, man! You got to see this movie. You're gonna flip out." So this was in January, and it was really tough to find. Like I kept trying to go to all these different sites and streaming services, and I ended up buying it through Apple. Apple was like the only place that I could actually see it in Canada. It had come out in the United States, but trying to get it in Canada was really tough. Apple was the only place to get it in January. And once I saw it, I watched it that night like 3 times in a row while I was working, and was just blown away by this movie. I hadn't liked the movie that much since like Fury Road, and from then on, I kind of like knew right there I wanted to make comics about this guy. But then people kept kind of like poking me. They're like, you need to be making Psycho Goreman comics. And then J Bone was sketching Psycho Goreman, and then it got in my head that the gang at Lethal Comics here, we should do like that heavy metal magazine style anthology that I've wanted to do for 10 years. And if we kickstart it, we might be able to raise the funds to do it, because doing a magazine like this is really expensive. So it costs at least about 30 grand just to pay all the artists and printing and shipping and all the rest of it, with 30 creators and over 70, 75 pages. It's an expensive book to make, but it's going to be dope as hell.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I saw this movie too, and it just kind of reminded me of Power Rangers on acid. It
Yeah,
was
exactly.
yeah, or just like real like taking a swing like a late 80s early 90s movie when kids movies just got a little more stranger. Guyver 1, the movie The Guyver is pretty. It's kind of like that too, a little bit goofy but super gory. But this takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah,
And
I love how crazy gory it is. But the joke is, it's like when you look at the box, it just says PG and then Psycho Gorman under it. And I think the movie is kind of PG. Like you know, my daughter's seen it a bunch of times and quotes the movie all the time. So it's definitely like I think it's classified as a horror movie, but I think pretty much anyone can watch it.
awesome, man. So another thing about Psycho Gorman coming to the comic book, is this like a prequel? Is this building on his world? Is this like, what could people expect from this
I
story?
think this one's pretty much these are prequel stories. Pretty much, there's one story that's contemporary, that's sort of like right as the movie is kind of going on. But for the most part, it's the prequel survival stories of all the goofs in the Intergalactic Council. You're gonna see a photo of them. Hey, stop right there.
Sure.
Anyone who's on the Kickstarter, watch that video right there. Besides the Kickstarter video that we all made in the studio, which is hilarious. Check out that video. That's a Creature Shop video of Steven Kostansky, the director's Creature Shop in Toronto. And it's wild. If you ever liked, like when I was a kid, you know, everyone wanted to be in the film business making horror movie masks and effects and costumes and stuff like that. And he did that. So if you watch that video, it shows them making all the masks and the costumes for Psycho Gorman. And it is the dopest video. Like if you ever were into, you know, Stan Winston or you know, Phil Tippett or why am I forgetting the other big guy that did Friday the 13th? Forgetting his name.
Okay.
He's the one that's all
Sex,
the Tarantino movies.
Sex Machine. Sex Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on his name all of a sudden. I've only had one coffee today. That's not enough.
I have had no coffees today. I set my alarm for 10 p.m. and not a.m. and realized that we were on at 10:30 quickly.
I got it.
So,
I got it. Tom Savini. So
yeah, Tom Savini. There you go.
So if you were into those guys, Tom Savini has a school for this stuff in the U.S. too. You'll love that video. But if you keep scrolling down, you can see some of the cool stuff we have coming out. But it's been.
Well, that's cool right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's some of the free stuff you get right away with the magazine. Yeah.
So
one of the joys of doing Kickstarter is that we get to make all this dope stuff that comes with the comic.
Yeah, but some people don't do that, man.
Yeah.
Like you guys have really went above and beyond for your audience here. I guess that's a Lethal Comics thing to do, right?
Yeah. So my whole goal with Lethal Comics is like you get a comic, but it's more like an experience. You're getting all this cool stuff with the comic. And a lot of people do that, like Coffin Comics does that, and some of the other people do that. But like, I think the thing with Lethal is like we're making these for the fans. This isn't something you go buy in the store. This is something we make, and I ship it to you like from my own hands. And it's stuff that I would want, you know. So I spent 2 years just getting Kickstarters and buying them and seeing like what kind of stuff I liked. And then I would think about what did I like as a kid when I was growing up, because I grew up in a time where you would get all this sort of like stuff all the time. And, you know, like on Mother Trucker, we're going to do the rubber LJN figures from the 80s for wrestlers.
Oh, cool, dude.
Yeah, man, we got that in the works. So this is the kind of stuff that we get to do on Kickstarter with the money we raise. We get to make, you know, toys and, you know, cool stickers and enamel pins. And I'm about to announce an enamel pin on the Kickstarter today. If we get to 70 today, I'm going to make a bunch of awesome enamel pins for everybody.
Awesome, man. Okay, so go to Kickstarter.com. Look up Lethal Comics, Psycho Gorman. This is something that you definitely want to jump on, folks. I pledged. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's because I kind of like the idea with Kickstarter too, where you kind of get these things that are just like get it in that moment or it's gone. Like I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like we're making these books, and sometimes they're going to be rare and hard to find, and you know, I think that's going to make them, you know, worth more. But even it's going to make it an experience that it's more precious to get these things. And I think the thing is like there's not enough making comics special. You know, working comics for 25 years, a lot of the idea of something that you make and pour your heart into being special I think is gone when you're working with some of the publishers. They're just kind of firing it out. They don't market it. And at Lethal, we were kind of looking at that. We have to do all our own marketing if we work for Marvel, DC, and Image if we want to sustain a career. So why not just like have the career we want, making the comics that we want? And the second I saw Psycho Gorman, man, I was like, that's a comic I want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to draw Aquaman. I want to draw Psycho Gorman comics. I think that would be some dope stuffs. And oddly enough, the film company that made Psycho Gorman has a lot of the same ethos behind their company, which is really cool. They're very much like, we want to make the movies we want to make, and we were kind of like that too with the comic company. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the future with these guys. I think we're looking at Psycho Gorman 2 already. They asked me and they're super pumped. So I think we're going to do another magazine early in 2022. So pretty exciting, man. It's going to be super dope. So it ends tonight at 10 o'clock. So if you're seeing this now, it's your last chance to get on there and check it out. But I think you're going to love it.
Awesome, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining me, Andy. You got a big day ahead of you.
Oh yeah.
Promoting.
It's crazy.
By the way, you're great at promoting Lethal Comics. I found that Kickstarter in 5 seconds. I needed to find it today. Sorry, everybody. Cool. 10 o'clock. Don't miss out. Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.
Lethal Comics forever. Yeah. All right. Bye.